Hi guys, it's Just Ron Fiction and welcome to the start of a reading vlog. So, in this vlog, I plan on finally reading the Shatter Me series. I have had so many people recommend I pick this series up. I know it is very beloved by a lot of people. However, I have been hesitant, and the reason is I feel like this is YA dystopian. And when I hear YA dystopian, I think of The Hunger Games and Divergent. And while I loved those series when I was first reading them, I feel like I've kind of aged out of that genre. But now, recently, I've been seeing some quotes from this series, one specifically involving raising of hips, and I am just curious. So I am so excited to jump into this series. I just want to know if it's worth all of the hype. And I asked over on my Instagram if anyone else wanted to read the series with me, and Melissa from the Book Bar agreed. So she will be posting a video on the same day, and I will leave it down linked in the description below. So once you are finished watching this vlog, definitely check hers out. I absolutely love her channel. She's just an awesome human being. But anyway, I'm so excited. I will have spoilers, but I will definitely also be adding spoiler warnings. So when I read a book, I will have a spoiler-free section where I just talk about what's going on, but then I will have a spoiler warning and then I'll discuss spoilers for the book. So anyway, so excited, and I will check with you guys after I have started the first book. Alright guys, so I have officially finished the first book in the Shatter Me series, and I had planned on doing a check-in like halfway into the book. However, the audiobook was a lot shorter than I originally thought. So anyway, I actually really enjoyed it. So I was fully planning on hate reading this series. I went in with very low expectations, and I realized that is completely unfair. However, this book came out a while ago, and it's dystopian young adult, and I just wasn't expecting to like it. And that's not the case. I feel like the romance is actually like very much in the forefront of this series, and I can already tell like I'm gonna be obsessed. So for a like spoiler-free plot synopsis, we are following this girl, Juliet, and she is currently living in this mental institution, mental asylum, and she seems to be in solitary. Like she's really just trying to make sure she doesn't go crazy and trying to like convince herself that she's not crazy. And then this other person ends up coming into her cell, and she right away is like, do not touch me, you have to stay away from me. So we find out that if you touch Juliet or she touches you, she causes extreme pain to the point that she can kill someone just by touching them. So she hasn't been touched very often in life, like her parents never hugged her. We find out that she had a horrible upbringing. So then we find out a little bit more, and eventually Juliet is given to Warren or Warner. I forget, I'll let you know in the next check-in. Anyway, he's like the head of this evil government body, and he wants to use Juliet as a weapon. We then find out that the soldier's name was Adam, and he actually knew Juliet when she was not in the mental institution, when she was just like a normal citizen. So they have like a little bit of a past, and the story kind of goes from there, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. It's really hard to talk about it without getting into spoilers. So I am going to stop the spoiler-free section for now. So if you have not read the book, stop watching, skip to the next timestamp. And yeah, jumping into spoilers. So first off, I spoiled this for myself. I have seen so much fan art and like quotes from the love interest that I assumed would be Adam, but it's by the evil guy at the moment. So I'm not exactly sure how that's gonna play out because he really seems like a dick. So I'm thinking this is like a Rhysand Tamlin type situation. Yeah, I'm so curious how they're gonna make this guy more appealing, because like right now, not feeling it, but I'm also so about having him be the eventual love interest. We'll see what happens. As far as like the world, I hope we get a lot more information of like what caused the world to be the way it is, and we aren't just gonna like accept that there was something that happened that now this government was able to take control. Like they've kind of hinted at the fact that like this has been being planned for a while, but still I'm like really curious. Also, totally do not trust the people she's with at the end of book 1. So Adam ends up, also I'm not sure how I feel about Adam yet. Like he's a little too good, but anyway. So Adam and the brother and then the friend all go to that like secret place that the friend was actually working for, and they just met this other guy. I'm gonna have to go back and reread because apparently I did not remember anyone's name. But this new secret organization seems like they're really good, but I also feel like they might end up trying to take advantage of Juliet's power as well. So we'll see how that plays out. I also didn't realize that I had to read the novellas, so thank you. One of my friends on Instagram told me, so I just downloaded the novellas. I'm gonna read them now. And yeah, I guess that's it. So far, absolutely loving the series, and I will check in with you guys after I've read the novella and started book number 2. All right, guys, so I finished the novella last night, and then I started book 2, so I figured it was time for a check-in. So with the novella, it's really hard to be spoiler-free, but I'm gonna do my best. So we're really just finding out what happens with Warner after the events of book 1. So he was injured in some way, so we kind of get to figure out like what happens with that. We find out about Warner's father and like Warner's role in the organization that he's working in, and why he even started looking into Juliet in the first place to like use her as a weapon. So I think the novella is definitely a must read because it gives you so much information in terms of just like Warner as a character. So definitely recommend. And then as far as book 2, for the spoiler-free section, so far, I don't know, the beginning is really slow. So this part really reminds me of like more young adult dystopian. Like it's starting off, they're in a new place, there's a new government body. If you've seen The Hunger Games, it's reminding me of the beginning of book 3 of The Hunger Games. So like they're kind of like realizing that they left one organization to go into another one that might be just as bad, or I think it's probably gonna be just as bad. But yeah, it's just a little slower paced, but I'm still really enjoying it. But now to get into the spoiler-free stuff, to talk like love interest and everything. So I feel like it's still insta-lust with Warner. Like in the novella, he's like, I think I love her. And I'm like, you do not know you love her after just reading her journal. Like that, I came out of kind of nowhere. So I understand he like relates to her because like his father is a jerk and he's had to deal with growing up with him as a father. So like they do have like that to relate to, but I don't know. It just feels like it came on too quick that he decided that he loved her. Unless they give us a little bit more information like down the road. As far as book 2, I feel like Adam is gonna pull like a Tamlin where he's hiding something from Juliet and he thinks he's doing it for her own good, and it's really gonna blow up in his face. So that is my like guess as to what is gonna happen. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. I like Kenji, I think that's his name, Kenji, as like a funny like side character. And I don't trust this new place that they're in. I just think that they're gonna try to use Juliet's power against Warner's whole group, and it's just gonna be like a bad situation. I kind of want Juliet just to go off and do her own thing. But anyway, still very much enjoying the series. I am going to continue reading. I just bought the books off Amazon. I think they were delivered. And I will check in with you guys a little bit later. All right, guys, so sorry about the multiple car clips, but my husband is currently on a conference call inside, so I figured it'd be easier just to film in the car. But I finished book 2, I started book 3, and this is definitely like a romance that's disguised as a young adult series. It's not like explicit in terms of romance, like you're not given a lot of details, but it's really like a love triangle. So I don't want to get into spoilers, but the second book is really just Juliet kind of like trying to not find herself, but like come into her powers and start to realize that there's a war going on and like she has to be a participant some way. She has to pick a side. So I am very much enjoying this. I can't wait to get to book 3. I will say that I actually posted on my Instagram that I wasn't sure if I should read the second novella and then go into book 3, or start book 3 and then read the novella, but like it was overwhelming the amount of people that said skip the novella. It kind of gives you spoilers. So just in case you were wondering. But now I am going to talk about spoilers because so much happened. So 3, 2, 1, spoilers. I had no idea they were brothers. I am so happy that wasn't spoiled for me. I did not see that coming. I don't really understand how Adam didn't realize that his father had like a second life, and the same thing with Aaron Warner. Like, he is unbelievably intelligent, so I just feel like he probably would have caught on at some point. I will also say the one critique I have about the series is I wish we got a little bit more going on with world building. Like, I'm loving the romance. Also, romance, insta-lust, a little bit insta-love. I just feel like Warner fell in love with Juliet like way too quickly. Same thing kind of with Adam, but I'm fine just ignoring that and like being happy with this like ride. Like, I'm loving this like whole Adam versus Aaron like thing going on. I love a good love triangle, but obviously Warner is my favorite by far. So yeah, I'm very much enjoying it. I was completely wrong. I actually like the fact that Castle I don't think he was evil. Like, at this point, we're not exactly sure if he's alive or dead, but like, I think he actually did want what was best for his people. I don't think he was purposely trying to manipulate Juliet. I think he was trying to like have her learn to fight for his own needs, but I don't think he was trying to manipulate her. So I like that it wasn't like two different evil organizations. Like, there was like a good one. Same thing with Kenji. Kenji kind of bothered me in the beginning, but I think he's just trying to do what's best. He's trying to save the people. So overall, I'm very much enjoying it. So I'm going to finish this third book, and then I might take a little bit of a break before I read the last three. But yeah, so I will check in with you guys in a little bit. All right, guys, so here's the deal. I hadn't planned on recording again, hence the appearance, but I just got to a part in book 3, and I just kind of want to rant about it. So this is going to contain spoilers. So Adam is being such a dick right now. And I think why I loved this love triangle so much is because Adam was good, and he hadn't done anything necessarily like not bad to Juliet, but he was still like a really good love interest. Like, I could see why people would still vote for him over Aaron Warner, because Aaron did do some pretty terrible things. Yes, he had like reasons for why he was doing that, like perfectly justified once you get his view, but like it was a good love triangle. But the way Adam is acting is like Juliet promised him that they were gonna be together forever. And like, yes, they did seem like, first of all, it was insta-love right away for both Warner and Adam. Like, that's the one critique I have of this book is, like, they both fell in love with this girl so quick. I'm really hoping that there's, like, another power that she has where she's, like, a siren or something, and, like, that would make it more believable. But putting that aside, I feel like Adam, like, after he goes into her cell and he realizes, like, oh, this is the girl I really liked, like, we were in school, he, like, develops and, like, thinks of this whole life that they're gonna have together. And, like, Juliet's still kind of, like, going through some stuff during that time. And I feel like it's fair for her to change her mind because Adam was the only person that was able to touch her. And that is why she felt so strongly towards him. And, like, I don't know. I just feel like the way Adam is acting, I understand he's hurt, but it's no right. Like, he literally just said, I wish you were dead to her, which is horrible. So anyway, yeah, I'm no longer liking Adam at all. I hate him, and I'm interested to see where the rest of this book goes. So anyway, that's my little rant. All right, guys, so welcome to my dad's house. I am house sitting / dog sitting for the next 2 days, but I finished Ignite Me on my way over, and I enjoyed this series, like, immensely. So if you are older, I'm in my 30s, and you're thinking about picking up Shatter Me, I would do it. I mean, I was really worried it was gonna read very young. And yeah, there are some parts that kind of did. As far as like the romantic scenes, I wish we got a little bit more detail. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I loved how it ended. I do know there are gonna be 3 other books. And I do plan on reading them. I don't know if it's gonna be part of this vlog or not. We will see. But yeah, I did really overall enjoy the series. My one critiques of the series, without giving away spoilers, I think we definitely could have had more detail as to how the war started. A little bit more in each like romantic relationship. I kind of wanted them not to like instantly fall for Juliet. And then just a little bit more character development. And the ending felt rushed. There was a point, I had 23 minutes left of the audiobook, and I was like, we haven't even gotten to the big bad yet. Like, how are we going to wrap all of this up in the next 20 minutes? Because originally it was supposed to be 3 books and then done, and then a couple of novellas. But then I think she eventually ended up adding more to the series. So yeah, so that's my overall feelings. If you're thinking about reading it, definitely read it. I really enjoyed it. Now getting into spoilers. Oh my gosh, Aaron Warner is my new book boyfriend. I loved him so much. I totally get the hype. When I got to the Lift Your Hips For Me love, I was like, finally, I wanted them to get it on for so long. Yeah, I absolutely love them together. I also love the very end where Juliet, she just shoots the guy. So I feel like in a lot of like dystopian YA stories, there's like this long drawn out battle and all of this stuff happens. And in this, Juliet's just like, I shot him in the forehead and now I'm the new ruler. I also love the fact that she was like, I'm gonna rule this territory myself and not give it to somebody else because, hey, I am super powerful. And I loved it. I am kind of worried about picking up the next 3. I don't want it to ruin the story, but also I don't want to be done with these characters because I really did. I loved all of the characters. So yeah, I think I will continue, and I definitely enjoyed it. So I am going to finish my Shamrock Shake. It is St. Patrick's Day when I'm filming this. Go hang out with the dog for a little bit, and I will check in with you guys after I have read the novella and then started book number 4. Hi guys, so it has been about a week since I last updated. I took a break from the Shatter Me series to finish A Court of Frost and Starlight and then A Court of Silver Flames for a live show, but now I am back, and I actually read all of Restore Me in one sitting. It doesn't mean it was good. So I will say, I feel like this series definitely could have ended with the first 3 books. I feel like the first 3 books really did tell, not necessarily a complete story, but like we got the gist. It had that amazing romance, and it could have ended there, but the author decided to release 3 more books, and yeah, I was a little hesitant to pick them up. This definitely feels much more YA, dystopian. The romance isn't as, I mean, there's still a romance going on. Honestly, I don't love what happened to Aaron in this book. So, spoiler free, it picks up 16 days after the events of how Shatter Me ended. And Juliet is trying to deal with the ramifications of what she did at the end of the last book. I am sorry, this is horrible to do spoiler free. But yeah, it's a very stressful time, and she's trying to kind of figure out things and how to lead, and goes from there. So going into the spoiler section, so it starts off, like I said, 16 days after, and now Juliet and Warner, or Juliet is supposed to be leading this whole group of people herself, and Warner is there to like help her, and Juliet realizes right away that, hey, I am a 17-year-old girl that was not brought up to be a leader. Warren probably is way better suited for this, but despite that, I still want to lead. So I just feel like, I don't know, and then Warner starts like second guessing himself, and he's just not as strong of a character as he was in the original 3 books. And like, I like giving him a little bit more personality, but also like, I liked our like stoic bad guy, kill everyone, but except for Juliet. Like, I don't know. So I don't love his character. If anything, the only character that this book really made me like more was Kenji. Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm feeling about this series. I will say the ending of this book, whoa, was not expecting her to kill 500 people. That was a twist I did not see coming. Also, the fact that her parents are actually alive. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see how I like these last 3 books. This book is definitely my least favorite I've read so far. So hopefully the next book is better. So I will talk to you guys after I at least start, possibly finish the next book. All right, guys, this is the final check-in for the Shatter Me series. I have now completed the entire series, including the novellas. And I have a lot of different thoughts. So for the spoiler-free section, I will say books 5 and 6, I did enjoy more than book 4. I feel like book 5 was definitely a setup book for all the events that take place in book 6. And book 6 felt like an action movie. Like, so much goes down. It was probably one of my favorites in the series. But overall, I will say I really enjoyed the series as a whole. I will say the first 3 books were definitely my favorite. And if you are looking for like romance, I would definitely like stick to the first 3 books and then end it. They can definitely be read just them. Like, you really don't need to go on. There is a conclusion at the end of book 3. Now, when it comes to the rest of the books, still really good. Definitely felt a little bit more like action. Read a little bit younger, but not that much. There is a lot of violence that takes place on page. And I will say it doesn't feel like these books were written so many years ago. I think the first 3 books came out like in the early 2000s, and just on reading them, I never would have guessed that. I think the writing is really well done. And I overall really enjoyed it. So highly recommend, definitely pick it up. Now, if we're getting into spoilers, so a lot happens in those last 3 books, and I feel like those last 3 books kind of take away from Aaron and Juliet's relationship a little bit in the first 3, in terms of like tension and angst and like the whole enemies to lovers bit, because we find out that Juliet and Aaron are really like destined to be together. They have been bringing themselves together their entire upbringing, and it gets a little bit more like sci-fi in the last 2 books, that we find out that like Juliet's sister is actually alive and she's being kept in a tank, and she has like this crazy superpower where she's able to go into people's minds, and the reestablishment or whatever they're called has been using her as a weapon. And it's a lot in those last 3 books. So I did enjoy them, definitely like the original trilogy more. Kenji ended up being one of my absolute favorite characters. I liked the, not humanization, but I love the different personalities of all of these different characters. And it really kind of shows you like what would happen during a war. Like you have these like zealots that want to fight and want to just like take down this institution, and they don't care about what innocents they kill. And then you have leaders like Castle who might be almost too kind, where they want to forgive people, even knowing that like it could be a huge mistake. So I really loved how this like series showcased that and the romance overall. So overall, am I upset that I read these books? Hell no. I loved this series. Definitely, once again, first 3 books more than the last 3 books. But overall, I had a wonderful time. So definitely, if you have not read these books yet, I would give them a try. They are worth all of the hype. And thank you so much for watching this vlog.